A new global food mandate is being declared, not for our benefit, but for our complete submission.
Friends, America is in a state of severe crisis. This is utterly mind-boggling. We spend $4.6 trillion on healthcare every single year. That is more than the entire GDP of Germany, the fourth largest economy in the world. And yet for all that spending, we rank a dismal 37th in global health outcomes. 1 out of every 4 of those dollars goes to treating type 2 diabetes alone, a disease that is 100% preventable and 100% reversible, just by altering our food. And this is not an accident by any means. This is the result of a deliberate, decades-long campaign by the modern food industry to replace our real, nutrient-dense food with cheap, addictive, ultra-processed products that drive massive scales of sickness and dependency. But as they say, all is not lost yet. Something out of the blue has just happened, changing the entire course of things for us all. Enter Robert F. Kennedy Jr., our only hope, perhaps. Yes, friends, RFK is taking this fight to the national level with his Make America Healthy Again movement. And at the forefront of this effort, he is targeting 9 specific foods that have been quietly sabotaging our health for decades. And here's the shocker. 4 of the 9 foods RFK Jr. is going to ban are, on the surface, meat-based. Yes, you heard that right. 4 foods that even a lot of carnivore followers consider to be healthy and nutritious. But the reality is far different. These are not real healthy foods. Rather, they are impostors. They are ultra-processed, chemically altered, nutrient-stripped products masquerading as real food. And consuming these foods not only just derails us from our carnivore goals and objectives, but they also result in severe health outcomes which we do not desire at all. So in this exclusive video, we're breaking down those 4 carnivore imposter foods, explaining exactly why they are on RFK Jr.'s list, and most importantly, showing you the powerful, nutrient-packed, truly carnivore alternatives that will allow you to thrive without compromising your health. Plus, there is a huge update on something even bigger than the ban on these 4 carnivore foods. We shall be discussing that as well. And this is the information they don't want us to have.
The battle for the future of human health begins.
Now, this would be a big surprise for many of us. The first carnivore food that RFK Jr. is looking to get rid of is cheese, specifically American cheese. Now, let's be brutally honest. This is not cheese. This is a cheese-like product. It is a triumph of food engineering designed for shelf stability, meltability, and profit, not nutrition. It is loaded with emulsifiers, preservatives, seed oils, and artificial coloring. It is the very definition of ultra-processed dairy, a product that can trigger inflammation, disrupt your gut microbiome, and deliver a payload of fake nutrients your body cannot even use. But here is the most terrifying part. It's not just adults eating this stuff. It is a staple in the diet of our children. Right now, 74% of American children consume some form of cheese on any given day. And with ultra-processed foods now accounting for a staggering 62% of children's daily calories, this plastic-wrapped imposter is a gateway to a lifetime of metabolic dysfunction. Ultra-processed dairy, think American cheese, flavored yogurts, and sugary milk products, makes up 44% of all the ultra-processed foods in some kids' diets. That is almost half. And it's not just empty calories. These foods are directly tied to inflammation, gut disruption, and the delivery of synthetic vitamins and minerals that your body barely recognizes. Studies have shown measurable negative effects in as little as 3 weeks, but you will feel the impacts, the bloating, the brain fog, the low energy long before they ever show up on your blood work. So, when you hand a child a slice of American cheese, you are handing them more than a snack. You are handing them a habit that could stick for life, programming their palate to prefer fake food and setting them on a path toward chronic disease. So, what is the swap? The answer is simple: real cheese. Any organic, grass-fed cheese is a world away from its processed counterpart. It is made from milk, salt, and enzymes, not a laundry list of chemicals. It is free from the additives and emulsifiers that wreak havoc on your gut. And because the flavor comes from real fermentation and aging, not from artificial flavorings, it tastes infinitely better. If you love tangy cheeses, goat or sheep milk cheese are fantastic options. They are often easier to digest for people with sensitivities to cow's milk. But no matter the source, choosing real, minimally processed cheese will always be easier on your gut, lower in inflammatory proteins, and richer in the beneficial fats and fat-soluble vitamins our bodies need to thrive. But the ultimate swap, the one that represents the pinnacle of nutrient density and bioavailability, is raw cheese. Made from unpasteurized milk, raw cheese retains all the beneficial enzymes and probiotics that are destroyed during pasteurization. These are the very components that help your body break down and absorb the nutrients in the cheese. When you're shopping for raw dairy at stores like Costco, Whole Foods, or Sprouts, just remember to do one thing: read the ingredients. The list should be short and simple. If you see anything you can't pronounce, put it back. Moving ahead to something even more surprising. Now let's talk about the second carnivore food RFK Jr. is looking to ban. Because unlike American cheese, this one is not some plastic-wrapped impostor. This one looks clean, natural, even indistinguishable from the real thing. You will see it in coffee shops, fitness recipes, and health influencer meal plans, marketed as pure, lean protein. But when you peel back the label, what you will really find is a lab-engineered product, stripped of its natural enzymes, laced with fillers, and denatured to the point where your body barely recognizes it. It's milk, specifically low-fat milk. And this is where RFK Jr. really flips the narrative, because unlike most health officials, he actually supports raw, full-fat milk. His goal is to ease restrictions on raw milk sales and phase out the fake, industrialized versions we have all been told are healthy. So why is he aiming to ban low-fat milk and bring back raw? Simple. Raw milk still contains everything nature intended: the live enzymes that help you digest lactose, the healthy saturated fats that are essential for hormone production and brain health, the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K2 that are critical for immunity and bone health, the beneficial probiotics that populate your gut with healthy bacteria. These are the exact components that get destroyed during pasteurization, the heating process that's supposed to make milk safe, but in reality leaves it sterile, lifeless, and stripped of its most valuable nutrients. Low-fat milk, the version that has been pushed as heart-healthy and clean for decades, is anything but. The fat is removed, and with it, the flavor and the fat-soluble vitamins. To make up for this, it is fortified with synthetic vitamins to replace what was lost, and often loaded with added sugar or artificial sweeteners to make it palatable. This doesn't just apply to your glass of low-fat milk. It's your low-fat yogurt, your fat-free Greek yogurt, your light dairy staples, anything marketed as low-fat, low-calorie, or heart-healthy. This all started in the late 1970s when the low-fat craze exploded onto the scene, driven by flawed science and aggressive marketing. But it also happens to be the exact same decade where obesity rates began to skyrocket. The same decade that heart disease, cancer, and diabetes began their relentless surge across the country. You can call that a coincidence, or you can see it for what it is: a catastrophic failure of public health policy driven by corporate greed. For me, I will always choose the real deal: raw, full-fat milk. It has all the enzymes and microbes that work with your body, not against it. But I know a lot of people get freaked out by the word raw. They have been conditioned to believe it is dangerous. So let me be clear. Raw milk is safe, as long as you get it from the right place. The risk of contamination comes from unsanitary conditions, not from the milk itself. When cows are healthy, grass-fed, and raised in clean, open pastures, their milk is one of the most nutrient-dense, enzyme-active foods on the planet. It is the food our great-grandparents drink every day without fear. The key is to avoid raw milk from industrial factory farms. Choose organic, regenerative, or local farms. Visit them if you can. Talk to the farmers. Ask how they treat their cows. A good farmer will be proud to show you their operation. My own experience is a testament to this. When I eat raw, unpasteurized dairy, whether it's raw butter, raw cheese, raw milk, or my favorite, raw cottage cheese, I have absolutely no bloat, no inflammation, no indigestion, no issues whatsoever. The moment I switch to pasteurized dairy, the bloat, gas, and constipation return almost immediately. My body holds water and I feel inflamed. The difference is not subtle, it is profound. The third carnivore food RFK Jr. is targeting is something a lot of us consume on a regular basis. It is farmed salmon. And honestly, I would avoid all farmed meats in general. Whether it's salmon, poultry, pork, or chicken, they all share one thing in common: a completely unnatural diet. In the wild, animals get their nutrients from what nature intended: grass, bugs, smaller fish, clean water, and real food. But on industrial farms, they are fed a cheap, inflammatory slurry made from grains, soy, and seed oils that are dangerously high in omega-6 fatty acids. That imbalance doesn't just change their health, it changes yours. Instead of getting clean, anti-inflammatory omega-3s, you are eating meat overloaded with omega-6s that promote inflammation and disrupt your hormones. But of all the farmed animals, salmon might be the worst, for two reasons. Reason number one, farmed salmon contains up to 16 times more PCBs than wild-caught salmon. PCBs, or polychlorinated biphenyls, are highly toxic industrial chemicals that were banned decades ago for being carcinogenic. These toxins accumulate in fat, and a major Norwegian study has already linked farmed salmon consumption to higher risks of cancer and metabolic disease. That is bad, but honestly, it is not as gross as the second reason why farmed salmon is a chemical bomb you should avoid at all costs. And that reason is all about that beautiful pink color everyone associates with healthy salmon. Unfortunately, it's fake. Farmed salmon flesh is naturally a dull, unappetizing gray. This is because they're missing a key compound found in their natural diet: astaxanthin, a powerful red-orange antioxidant pigment, the same pigment that makes flamingos pink. In the wild, salmon get their vibrant color from eating krill and shrimp, which are rich in astaxanthin. But farmed salmon don't eat krill or shrimp. They are fed a processed diet of corn, soy, grains, and fish meal, cheap, unnatural feed with zero astaxanthin. Without that pigment, their flesh turns a pale, grayish beige that no consumer would ever buy. So to fix this, fish farms add synthetic astaxanthin derived from petrochemicals or genetically modified yeast to the feed. They're literally coloring the fish from the inside out to make it look like wild salmon. And to keep these fish alive in overcrowded, stressful pens, they are dosed with antibiotics that end up in your system, killing your good gut bacteria. The same beneficial bacteria that protect your immunity, your digestion, and even your mood. The obvious alternative here is to opt only for wild-caught salmon. When you're shopping, always look for the words wild-caught. Alaskan salmon is almost always a safe bet. And this applies to all seafood, not just salmon. But I know what you're thinking. Wild-caught seafood is expensive, and it can be, but there are ways to make it affordable. The frozen aisle at stores like Costco often has wild-caught seafood at a much more reasonable price. But here's the truth. If you cannot afford it, just don't force it. The main reason we reach for seafood is for its rich micronutrient profile, essential omega-3s, and key electrolytes. And there are other ways to get these same benefits without splurging on fresh or frozen wild-caught fish. My top recommendation for anyone on a tight budget is wild-caught sardines. They have all the nutrition of wild-caught salmon, but at a fraction of the price. They are a true carnivore superfood. Friends, this is really heartbreaking. Before we move to the big update affecting us all following the carnivore diet, let's have a look at the fourth food to be banned. The last carnivore food RFK Jr. is targeting is deli meat. The pre-packaged lunch meats that end up in kids' lunchboxes, the cured meats from the deli counter, the convenient grab-and-go protein that has become a staple in the modern diet. Most of the deli meat we grab off the shelf is packed with preservatives, like sodium nitrate and nitrites, to keep it looking pink and fresh. But when we digest those preservatives, they can be converted in our bodies into nitrosamines, a class of compounds that have been officially classified by the World Health Organization as a Group 1 carcinogen, the same category as tobacco and asbestos. Now, I know there is a lot of debate online over nitrates in meat, with valid points on both sides. Some argue that the amount is small, that they are also found in vegetables, and that they are harmless. Others argue that any amount of a known carcinogen is too much. My approach is simple, especially when it comes to what you feed yourself and your family. Less on the label is always better. If a food requires a chemical preservative to stay fresh, it is not fresh food. The obvious swap here is to cook your own whole meat, a roast beef, a turkey breast, a pork loin. You can cook it once and have healthy, preservative-free meat for the entire week. But I also get so many questions from you, especially from our Carnivore Squad community, about travel-friendly alternatives because the convenience of deli meat is hard to beat. So here are my go-to travel snacks. Hard-boiled eggs are a perfect portable source of protein and fat. Sticks of butter, frozen, are another favorite of mine. I pack them frozen so they last longer when I'm traveling. And there are many great minimally processed jerkies and meat bars available now. Look for brands that are family-owned by carnivores themselves, that use simple ingredients, and that don't add sugar, nitrates, or other junk. And friends, this brings us to something even more crucial, which is aimed at changing the entire perspective of eating and thriving on natural, organic meat. Let's have a look.
Friends, before we move ahead, we would like to know, how has been your experience on the carnivore diet so far? Which health conditions have you managed to heal? Did you face any problems while starting or later on? And do you have any tips and suggestions for other carnivore followers? Do share in the comments. And here we have a little request. Subscribe to our channel, Carnivore Squad, helping us spread the healing message further.
Exposing the propaganda. Deconstructing the planetary health fraud.
It is really hard to believe, but now that the buzz has settled down a bit after the announcement of the Nobel Prize winners, the dark truth and the bitter reality associated with these awards is slowly coming to the light. Especially after what we have found out about the prize given in the field of chemistry, a lot of pinching questions have come out. As we all know, proteins are the essential molecules in our body that carry out virtually all biological functions, facilitating metabolism, immune response, energy production, and cell communication. However, understanding and manipulating these complex structures has remained one of the most difficult challenges in molecular biology. A protein's function is dictated entirely by how it folds into a precise three-dimensional shape, but predicting this shape from its amino acid sequence has eluded scientists for decades. This difficulty is known as the protein folding problem, first formulated in the 1970s. Despite advances in experimental techniques such as X-ray crystallography and nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, solving the structure of proteins remained a slow and resource-heavy process. Each protein required dedicated work that could take months or years, thus hampering scientific progress, particularly in areas like medicine discovery and enzyme engineering. Alongside the challenge of understanding natural protein structures, researchers also faced the limitation of biological evolution. Natural proteins are the result of millions of years of evolutionary fine-tuning, optimized for the survival needs of specific organisms. However, the functions needed for modern medical and industrial purposes often require new types of proteins, molecules that do not exist in nature. Designing these proteins from scratch presented enormous technical hurdles. Without the ability to accurately predict how sequences would fold, it was difficult to create proteins with desired functions. This dual challenge, predicting protein structures and designing functional proteins, represented a major bottleneck for biotechnology, medicine, and other scientific branches. In response to these challenges, scientists pursued two parallel paths: improving protein design algorithms to create new proteins from scratch, and developing predictive tools to unlock the structures of natural proteins faster and with greater precision. These efforts culminated in the breakthroughs that earned the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Now, the obvious question that comes to mind is that how are these magnificent scientific developments a threat to the carnivore diet, or in simpler terms, the proper human diet and nutrition? Well, we certainly are going to describe this, but for that, we need to know these details discussed ahead. Solving the almost impossible design problem with computational protein engineering. Well, friends, Dr. David Baker's controversial yet groundbreaking work addresses the challenge of de novo protein design, the ability to create new proteins from scratch for specific applications. His lab developed Rosetta, a pioneering computational platform that simulates how amino acid sequences fold into stable, functional structures. This tool has evolved over the past 2 decades into one of the most powerful resources for protein engineering, allowing researchers to bypass the limitations of natural proteins and create entirely new molecules. Baker's team demonstrated that proteins could be designed to carry out highly specialized tasks, such as functioning as enzymes that break down environmental pollutants or molecular sensors capable of detecting disease markers. A particularly noteworthy achievement is the creation of a synthetic medicine for respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, the first de novo designed medication to enter clinical trials. This development highlights the transformative potential of custom protein design in the field of medicine, paving the way for more effective and precise therapeutics. Beyond medicine, Baker's designs extend into fields like nanotechnology and green chemistry. His lab has produced enzymes that can break down plastics and materials with enhanced properties for use in industry. The power of computational design lies in its ability to solve problems faster and more accurately than traditional trial-and-error methods, reducing reliance on natural proteins and expanding the toolkit available to scientists and engineers. Moving to the other half, solving the protein folding problem with AlphaFold 2. While Baker tackled the design problem, Demis Hassabis and John Jumper of Google DeepMind confronted the protein folding problem, a puzzle that had frustrated biologists for over 50 years. AlphaFold 2, their deep learning-based AI model, achieved what many believed was impossible, accurately predicting the three-dimensional structure of proteins directly from their amino acid sequences. This feat was made possible through neural networks trained on large datasets of protein sequences and structures, combined with advanced optimization techniques to generate predictions with atomic-level accuracy. According to the developers, AlphaFold 2's impact has been really profound. Since its release in 2020, the system has solved the structures of more than 200 million proteins, providing researchers with insights that would have taken decades to uncover using experimental methods. Scientists have used AlphaFold 2 to study antibiotic resistance mechanisms, model viral proteins, and develop new enzymes for industrial applications. Its open-access model has democratized protein research, making these insights available to millions of researchers worldwide across 190 countries. The predictive power of AlphaFold 2 has revolutionized several scientific fields. In medicine, it accelerates medication discovery by revealing the exact structure of target proteins, allowing for the design of more effective medications. In material science, it enables the development of custom enzymes for sustainable chemical processes. By solving the protein folding problem, Hassabis and Jumper have provided a tool that streamlines research and innovation across numerous disciplines. Together, the work of Baker and the DeepMind team represents a paradigm shift in molecular biology. With the ability to design new proteins from scratch and predict the structures of natural proteins with precision, scientists apparently now have tools that dramatically expand the frontiers of biotechnology. These breakthroughs promise to revolutionize medicine development, industrial bioprocesses, and environmental science by providing faster, more effective solutions to previously intractable problems. However, as these technologies mature, they raise new unanswered questions. Although custom-designed proteins and AI-predicted structures offer incredible potential, but they also pose a risk to our biological system, taking it to the level of man versus nature. So, how will these new proteins behave over time? What are the unforeseen risks associated with engineering molecules that do not exist in nature? And, most importantly for us, how these artificial new proteins are going to affect our dietary health and nutrition. As we unfold the details further, this is where it gets crucial for us all, following the diet plans with proteins as an integral part of the whole picture. Well, friends, the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, awarded for advancements in new protein design, marks a pivotal moment in science, allowing scientists to precisely design proteins with unprecedented accuracy, reshaping fields from medicine to food science. While this achievement has a mighty transformative potential, it also opens the door to unsettling developments related to synthetic food production. Companies, notably Upside Foods and Savor, both backed by Bill Gates, are applying these innovations to create lab-grown meat and artificial butter. Though these projects are marketed as sustainable solutions to reduce environmental impact, they also present a hidden danger: the gradual elimination of natural animal-based foods from our diets. This shift risks depriving people of the essential nutrients found in real meat and butter, critical elements for high-fat, high-protein diets such as the carnivore diet, which many individuals follow to optimize health and wellness. While the scientific world celebrates the creation of synthetic proteins, these technologies are aimed to ultimately drive consumers away from nutrient-rich natural foods. Lab-grown meat and artificial fats are touted as replacements for red meat and animal butter, but in reality, they are nutritionally far inferior and could lead to severe long-term health consequences. A deeper examination of how these synthetic products are made and how they compare to their natural counterparts reveals significant cause for concern. Here is something highlighted by Dr. Sean Baker: lab-grown meat, a poor substitute for nutrient-dense red meat. Well, friends, the concept of lab-grown meat originated from research in tissue engineering, aiming to replicate animal muscle tissue outside of the body. The process begins by extracting stem cells or muscle precursor cells from a living animal. These cells are placed in a nutrient-rich culture medium where they multiply and form muscle fibers. The medium typically contains a blend of amino acids, glucose, minerals, vitamins, and growth factors. Early versions of this technology required fetal bovine serum, or FBS, a substance derived from the blood of unborn calves to stimulate cell growth, although companies are now working to replace FBS with plant-based alternatives. In bioreactors, the muscle cells are exposed to hormonal and chemical signals that trigger them to differentiate into muscle fibers. These fibers are grown on scaffolds to mimic the texture of natural meat. However, the final product is essentially a collection of cells without the complex network of tissues, connective elements, and fats that give real red meat its unique nutritional profile. Natural red meat, particularly beef, lamb, and organ meats, contains a wealth of essential nutrients that lab-grown meat cannot replicate. These include heme iron, which is highly bioavailable and critical for preventing iron deficiency, vitamin B12, vital for brain and nerve function, and omega-3 fatty acids, which play a role in cardiovascular health. Red meat also provides a complete profile of essential amino acids, creatine, and carnitine, which are necessary for muscle function and energy metabolism. In contrast, lab-grown meat lacks many of these nutrients or provides them in forms that may not be as bioavailable. While synthetic meat can offer protein, it may fall short in essential micronutrients such as zinc, selenium, and fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K that are found abundantly in natural animal meat. Additionally, the long-term effects of consuming lab-grown meat remain largely untested. Some experts express concern that this engineered product could alter gut microbiota, increasing the risk of metabolic and immune disorders over time. Consumers drawn to lab-grown meat for its environmental promise may unknowingly sacrifice their health. The carnivore diet, which relies heavily on nutrient-dense animal products, demonstrates the profound benefits of a high-fat, high-protein diet. Many followers report improvements in metabolic health, mental clarity, and reduced inflammation. Replacing these whole foods with synthetic alternatives poses a direct threat to those seeking optimal health through natural nutrition. Similar to the synthetic meat, artificial butter from air, a nutritional and chemical mirage. In a parallel effort to replace traditional animal fats, companies such as Savor, also backed by Bill Gates, are developing artificial butter using carbon capture technologies. This innovative process involves transforming carbon dioxide, CO2, hydrogen, and oxygen into synthetic fats through a combination of thermochemical reactions. While this process might sound like a scientific marvel, it raises serious concerns about nutritional adequacy and long-term health risks. Natural animal butter, derived from milk, contains far more than just fat. It is a rich source of conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, a unique fatty acid with proven anti-inflammatory properties and potential benefits for fat loss. Butter also contains essential fat-soluble vitamins, such as vitamin A, which supports vision and immune function, vitamin D, crucial for calcium absorption and bone health, and vitamin K2, which plays a role in cardiovascular health by preventing arterial calcification. These nutrients exist in perfect synergy within natural butter, promoting efficient absorption and optimal health. In contrast, artificial butter lacks these complex nutritional benefits. While it may replicate the taste and texture of real butter, it offers little more than empty calories. The synthetic fats produced from carbon capture are stripped of the essential bioactive compounds found in natural animal fats. Furthermore, the long-term effects of consuming chemically engineered fats are unknown. The introduction of such products into the food supply could alter cholesterol metabolism, hormone regulation, and immune responses, leading to unforeseen health complications in the years to come. Replacing natural butter with a synthetic alternative also undermines the principles of nutritional freedom and dietary autonomy. Diets that emphasize animal-based fats, such as the carnivore diet and ketogenic diet, have shown profound health benefits, including improved insulin sensitivity, cognitive function, and cardiovascular health. Artificial butter, however, offers no comparable benefits and represents a step backward in nutritional quality.
To put it simple, the movement toward lab-grown meat and artificial fats is accelerating, with venture capital giants and high-profile investors like Bill Gates pushing the development of these products. While such developments could reduce the carbon footprint of livestock agriculture, they introduce some profound questions for our health and wellness, which are eventually the game changer.
Finally, moving to the most important section of the video, we're going to reveal the major health risks associated with the consumption of synthetic proteins and fats. Well, friends, the risks posed by synthetic foods, especially those derived from engineered proteins and fats, extend far beyond the superficial concerns of novelty. While these innovations are marketed under the promise of sustainability and progress, they carry serious health risks that remain largely untested. As synthetic alternatives begin to replace traditional sources of nutrition, the long-term impact on human health and biological well-being raises urgent and critical questions. Relying on lab-grown foods and artificial proteins threatens to disrupt metabolic balance, immune function, and nutrient absorption in ways that could cause profound, irreversible damage over time. One of the most immediate concerns revolves around the issue of nutrient bioavailability, the extent to which nutrients are absorbed and utilized by the body. Natural animal products, such as meat, fish, and dairy, provide essential nutrients in bioavailable forms, including heme iron, vitamin B12, long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, and complete amino acid profiles. These nutrients play irreplaceable roles in cellular metabolism, brain function, and immune health. Attempts to replicate these profiles in lab-grown meat or artificial butter face significant limitations. Even if the chemical structure of synthetic proteins mimics that of their natural counterparts, the complex synergies between nutrients present in real foods are exceedingly difficult to replicate in artificial systems. Replacing real animal-based proteins with synthetic ones risks introducing metabolic inefficiencies. The human digestive system has evolved over millennia to process and absorb nutrients from natural foods with remarkable efficiency. Introducing synthetic proteins or lab-grown alternatives could disrupt gut microbiota, the complex ecosystem of microorganisms essential for digestion, immunity, and hormonal balance. Disruptions to this microbiota have been linked to autoimmune disorders, metabolic syndromes, and chronic inflammation, conditions already on the rise in modern societies. Long-term reliance on artificial foods without fully understanding their effects on gut health could exacerbate these conditions and create new, unpredictable health risks.
The long-term health impact of consuming synthetic fats is another area of serious concern. Fats derived from carbon capture processes, such as the artificial butter developed by Savor, may replicate the taste and texture of natural fats, but there is no comprehensive understanding of their metabolic behavior. Natural fats, particularly those from animal sources, contain bioactive compounds like CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, and phospholipids that support heart health, immune function, and brain development. Synthetic fats are unlikely to carry these same benefits, and consuming them as a substitute for natural fats could disrupt lipid metabolism, increase the risk of inflammatory diseases, and impair brain function over time. So friends, here we are. We revealed the 4 meat-based food which RFK Jr. is going to ban. And we also had a look at the fake meat and butter issue, seriously threatening the nutrition and well-being of us all. What is your opinion about this whole issue? Which foods you regularly consume on a daily basis? And most importantly, how has been your journey so far? Which health conditions have you healed? And what tips would you give your other fellow carnivore followers? Do share in the comments. Press the like button if you found this video helpful and share it with your friends and loved ones as well. And subscribe to our channel, becoming a proud member of our carnivore community, helping us spread this message further. And do you know why Dr. Sean Baker is facing arrest threats? Click the video showing up on the screen to find that out.